Welcome back to part two. I'm joined by Rico. So basically, they read the scorecards out.
Yeah.
They read it really slow and teased us, didn't they? But they gave up Joshua the first one. And then you heard, everybody were like, the fix is in, weren't they? Did you think that?
When they said Steve Gray's name, I knew the fix wasn't in because otherwise, if Steve Gray was last, then I would have thought they was. So when they said Glenn Feldman, I thought, okay, possibly the fix is in. I knew the Ukrainian judge would give it to Usyk, so I thought they're going to go Ukrainian judge, then they're going to go Steve Gray. So I thought possibly, but I just thought, come on, it would have been really bad if they would have had the fix in.
Steve Gray to give that fight to Anthony Joshua, he'd have to leave boxing, wouldn't he? He would have had to do, wouldn't he? Surely.
Does he? I mean, is it worse than a lot of the other terrible cards we've seen over the years?
We've seen enough from that show, haven't we, at Border Control? But everything's swept away after 3 weeks anyway. Who cares? They just have another announced rematch.
I think who cares? I mean, look, fans don't really care. I mean, we talk about fans caring, but fans aren't boycotting boxing.
No.
Promoters aren't saying, unless he's sorted this issue, we're going to go to another governing body. So, yeah, I mean, look, people do care, but nobody cares enough to do anything about it. That's the truth.
Yeah. Okay, so when he's walked off, he's stormed off. He's either come back on his own steam. I've seen some stuff report, people saying that Barry Hearn would, had something to say about it. And other people.
But okay, why would he come back? Like, that's why I don't get here. So
I don't get it. If you leave, like, you walk off on your own steam.
If you leave, like
Nigel Benson, didn't he, against Eubank, he stormed off, didn't he, after rematch, second fight. So he stormed off. But he's come back, and when he's come back, I think his head had gone then. But they're all saying he had concussion, he'd been in an hard fight, you shouldn't have a microphone in your face after a 12-round war. Well,
I sort of agree with that point, right? Like you don't need to interview the loser after they've won a fight in general, right? That's my personal view. Like there's no real reason to interview the loser of a fight after having the fight, after having the fight, especially when they've lost, like regaining their title. So for me, I do get that argument, but nobody should have given him the microphone. But again, he is the contender, so you do give him the mouthroom. You only work in there, right? You're not going to be stopping him. You're not going to be putting your face in front of Joshua's fist to stop him. Whatever came out of his mouth was absolute gibberish. I mean, the fact that you're calling it's a civil war. I mean, we're not going to get political here. But
Sonny Liston and Mike Tyson and Jack Dempsey.
So there's a few points here. I thought it was quite offensive to tell Ukrainians it's civil war. I mean, that's what the Russians use. Whether you believe it's not, I mean,
trying to get involved in trending topics again like that.
But then he said, I don't really know much about it. So, he could have said, look at this guy. He's a real champion. Ukrainian people are going through a hard time. At the moment, he's here to represent his country. Can we give him credit? But the reason why I thought he was concussed was that whole weird hip hip hooray thing, and talking about where's Benga G14. I mean, who cares about Benga at this point? But he lost. Yeah, he said, "Oh, where's my cousin Benga? He got me in the boxing gym. G14, G14.
What's that? Is that an aeroplane or something?
Probably."
Well, this is how I look at it, right, Rico.
He took Usyk's moment away. That's the thing that really... Usyk should have had his moment as the champion to celebrate and essentially to, Usyk should have had his moment to speak to his people, give a message of inspiration. That's not for Joshua to do.
If Joshua would have got the decision, right, would he have, when it was a split, now, when they read Usyk's name out, Dummy come out, toys out, primary, if he'd have got the win, he wouldn't have stormed off like that, would he? So it's the judges that made him do that, the reaction to the scorecard, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's his... I don't knock people for being bad losers, he's a winner, right?
Yeah.
That's what he is. He's a competitor. But what really kind of knocks me is the fact that he took away Usyk's moment. I thought that was unfair, unreasonable, and just not great.
Mm-hmm. Eddie Hearn, I mean, how are they going to deal with this now? It's a nightmare for him, minute. He's in the middle of a nightmare, isn't he, really, now? Because he's had it all his own way, 12-year Eddie Hearn, hasn't he, now?
So Eddie's going to spin it as concussion, yada, yada, yada. I mean, look, Eddie will spin it the way he wants, and a lot of people will genuinely believe that, I believe. This isn't good for Eddie, and this isn't good for British boxing. I mean, look, we don't have a heavyweight champion. We don't have a guy with belts. How many world champions?
Fury got a belt, WBC.
You're right. He does. He hasn't
He's going to make a decision on Friday, is he?
Well, he was saying on Instagram yesterday that he's making a comeback and he'll fight against Usyk for a lot of money. You know, the usual Fury fun and games, making it by himself, right?
I've seen him effing and blinding. Somebody sent me something this morning saying it's worst fight he's seen and they're going to need millions and all this. Why don't you just let Usyk have his moment? Stay out.
That's what I mean. I saw
about him, doesn't
it? It's embarrassing to say the least. I mean, if you're retired, you making this announcement of being retired on the week of the fight, then you're saying you're coming back. It's just attention seeking.
Punditry on the night. Let's reel them off. In Jeddah, we had Johnny, Andy Scott, Macklin, Bean, Monty Bean.
Could have been, should have been, would have been, run have been, baked bean.
Bean, could have been, would have been, should have been, never been, baked bean, creepy bean, beanie, Rumpelstiltskin, put on to you. Right, so we had all that lot. And then we are, and David Diamante, aka Iron Man.
Iron Man.
The man that can just run into an heavy goods vehicle at 100 miles an hour and just get up without a scratch on him. And do you know why he can do that? You know what they say about David Diamante? When it happened, they went, "Oh my God, he just got up from that crash." I bet he drinks Carling Black Label.
I think, I mean, look, David Diamante, the 4th day of Easter, celebrate David Diamante's resurrection. That's all I'm saying here.
The UK tour, the UK leg was Carl the Frotch Cobra, Big Fraser Clark, Lawrence Okoli.
I think Fraser Clark was excellent.
Yeah, he did a bit. He backtracked though after what he said, didn't he? Towards the end, didn't he? You know when he come out about Joshua's out of order, it was 6 moment, blah blah blah, and then towards the end when they put him back on, he sort of corrected it all, didn't he, a little bit? But I thought it was good for him to speak out. Lawrence Okoli didn't say a word, did he?
So Lawrence Okoli, right?
I thought it was a good pundit though, but
I don't think he's with 258 anymore, right? He's had his beefs with Josh. He's had his beefs with Eddie and others not putting him on. I mean, look, the guy should be fighting more regularly.
Oh, nice chain. I like his chain.
Yeah, I don't think he's with 258 personally. I think he's left.
Well, I like Lawrence Okoli. His style's awful. I won't open my curtains to watch him, but I kind of like him because he's had it tough, hasn't he? He's got his central position, and he comes across as a really jovial, nice kid, doesn't he? I like his style to be a bit more exciting. I could get behind him, Rico.
He's improved as a fighter as well. He's massive.
But when I saw him fight Matty Askin, I couldn't watch another Okoli fight. I'll turn him off. I won't give him the opportunity. But I might throw him a bone now that I've seen that nice chain that he's got, because it's got a very nice finish to it. You can always tell a good chain, and that's a nice one that he's got.
If anybody knows about chains, it's my friend Pork, isn't it?
Well, I used to be a jeweler. Worst one.
Yeah.
All right. Let's have a look. What do you think to Colwell's breakdown? Look, whatever I say, I'm going to get hammered off my mates or Dave Colwell's fan club. Not that he's got many, but I actually thought he'd come across all right. What do you think?
I've always thought he's an okay pundit when he's not trying to pull for the home team. And the thing is, what we'll realize very quickly is who are actually Joshua fans and who are on the gravy train, right? Yeah. We're going to realize that very, very quickly. And what I mean by that is that so many people have been saying what they think Team Joshua would want them to say. And many of these people have been hiding their real feelings about Joshua and, you know, about his frailties and everything else. So I believe Dave Caldwell has, and others will be more forthright about what they believe about Joshua and what they believe. Also, he won't be on Sky anymore, so they can say whatever they want, right? They can say he's past it, his best years are behind him.
Well, the narrative would have been a lot different, wouldn't it? I mean, I know Johnny Nelson's had a lot of stick this week, and he needs it because Johnny just tries to make everything about him. There's too many people trying to be self-promoters like Johnny Nelson and the Gad. These people need to just pipe down and carry on with the job. Stop trying to make it about you. Now, Johnny Nelson this week's made everything about him, but if Joshua were a Sky man, he wouldn't have said half the things he said, would they? Or Bean. I mean, Bean basically, the Sky last night threw Joshua under a rug and under a bus, didn't they? Whatever.
Well, they did, yeah. They
They let us all see it. Normally, we don't get to see that stuff, do we, Rico?
I mean, I think they had to let us see it because they can't just cut the thing. But for me, it's more actually the fact that they were promoting it and giving it credence on social media. That's the real surprise here, because they don't normally, right? If somebody does something dumb on a Sky show, they're not going to be posting on social to get likes and shares and sharing it to people that didn't watch the fight. If you didn't pay for the pay-per-view and you're not a hardcore boxing fan, you're just a football fan, you would have read in the papers what happened in the fight. You would have read it on BBC. You would have read a line or two about what Joshua said. But when they're sharing it, everybody and anybody that follows sports will see that.
Yeah. What did you think to the show as a whole, Rico? What would you give the show for a mark out of 10? I know we had a 4-minute round, didn't we, earlier on in the night? You saw that, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought the undercard was pretty shocking, to be honest. I mean, there's two ways of looking at pay-per-view. The main event's the main attraction, and that's the thing that really carries the show, or you put a good card around it. And given how much money I mean, look, if it's the fight owns the show, so maybe Joshua did a very cheap show, but I thought the card wasn't entertaining until the main event. You know, there wasn't really that Zhang against Hrgovic fight was okay, but to be honest, it was pretty agricultural boxing to heavyweight. So
yeah. Okay. What did you think to when they were cheering Sky pundits when they showed you a bit of action? You know what I mean? They were jumping out the seats, weren't they? The cold.
It was just Froch was just sitting there sniggering, wasn't he?
Froch was like that watching it, wasn't it? All others were jumping up and down. AJ, come on, AJ! A bit embarrassing for the other three, I thought. Coley, Fraser, Clark, and Penfold.
Well, Coley, Fraser, Clark are probably mates with Joshua, right? I get that. Caldwell, he probably just wanted Brett to win. And actually, I don't mind the cheering. We see that in football and Euros and others. And
I do. I wanted him to lose.
Yeah, but most people.
Joshua, I want you to lose, you big dosser. I want him to lose, but I don't like him. If I don't like him, I want him to lose. People should just come out and say, yeah, I want him to lose. I've seen people on social media, people send me things, I think. Then when he told me.
I think people have the right to support whoever they want.
Whoever they want. I'm not into all that support the Brit and all that. I'll support who I want. I've got an
No, people should support whoever they want. That's the thing. And if you're supporting Joshua and you're passionate about it, then you can cheer all you want. But then what I expect from you is not to start backtracking or changing your opinions or like that's the main thing for me. It's not about whether you cheer Joshua or not. It's about you being consistent. So you can't say that Joshua is not good or needs to improve in X and Y if you don't believe that, you know, if you've never said this before.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting how Sky cover Joshua going forward. when he's not fighting on Sky.
It's going to be interesting what they say about Joshua now, what coverage they give him in it.
Yeah.
And that'll be Sky News as well. They might go after him proper, or they might leave him.
So Sky News boxing Sky Sports don't really tear down athletes, do they? It's more going to be what the tabloids say.
Well, they did Lance Armstrong, didn't they?
Yeah, but Lance was like bad for cycling. I mean, people said, oh, they made him the bad boy of cycling. The reason they tore down in Lance is that they could pinpoint somebody that did something wrong so that the rest of the sport, like if you're working for a company or something and everybody's doing something illegal or bad, then you'd rather say there's one bad actor, but the sport is good. That's why they chose to go after Lance Armstrong, because otherwise cycling would have saved its face. Same in boxing, right? If everybody went after Gerald Big Baby Miller, whereas there's multiple other heavyweights, including ones in Britain that have that have been caught for doping. They didn't go after other heavyweights. Some of them have been world champions, or some of them are, but they went after Big Baby Miller. They went after a bit Canelo before Canelo started fighting on against Brits and on matchroom stuff. But Big Baby Miller got quite different treatment from heavyweights and others that have been called for things like nandrolone, for example.
Okay, well, what about Anthony Joshua now then? Will the stories come out about therapeutic exemption certificates about steroids? Because he's had a good run with that, didn't he?
Well, if you're going to bring the story out of him for that, then you're probably going to have to bring out of others. Like, I just don't think if you're winning, it's a better story, or it might come after his career, but I just genuinely don't think people don't care enough. Yeah. It's going to be more about what he does in nightclubs and, his life. Well,
you're going to see it now, aren't you? Anthony Joshua we're probably going to see his head go now. He's going to blow all his mates around him now. Well, they've got what they wanted now, haven't they? They've got him down to their level, no belts, and he's vulnerable now. He's going to need his mates around him. He'll know who his mates are. Yeah, they might go out, they might start partying, but you're going to get to hear a little bit more now because he's a little bit vulnerable now, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. And we'll see which one of his mates stick around. Will it be AK, Skins, and others? Will they be sticking around?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see. Right, do you know the people that have given their scorecards? And I've seen a bit this morning, and some of these people I know personally. Steve Bunce had it 115, 113. Steve Bunce, right.
To who? To Joshua, right?
Joshua, yeah. How can anybody give him that fact? These are people they're supposed to be experts in their field. Steve Bunce is an expert in boxing. I think he is. He knows his boxing. I've spent many hours talking to him about boxing over drinks and other times I've met him at shows, after parties. Steve Bunce is a crackhead, in my opinion. He's on crack. He must be on something. Steve, go get help. 115, 113. Steve, come on. What are you doing? What are you doing? And the other people are doing the same thing. We're seeing jug ears. Spencer Oliver on TalkSport. He had it 4-2 up to Joshua. What are these people watching? We all know Spencer Oliver. He made a little play to get in there when McCracken were on scrap heap with Joshua. He looked like he was trying to muscle in and have a bit of a team role. It didn't work out for him. We're still hovering around the fringes because these people play the game. We know Spencer Oliver made a fortune out of that YouTube fight. He went to Sky with it, didn't he? You know which fight I'm on about, don't you? So these people, they hover around, don't you, Spencer Oliver, you little jughead? We know what these people do. They hover around for crumbs and they leech in and they use platforms to do it. Now he's got a bit of a platform now with TalkSport. Come on here, Spencer Oliver. I'll ask you some proper questions. You are a licker. You're a licker. To come out with that 4-2, Steve Bunce, you're a licker. You're a licker. 115, 113. Bricktop should sack you. These
you know why it is?
The game, aren't they? For their own ends and lying and spreading it to fans. The whole world could see he didn't win that fight. Nobody gave him a round out of the first 6. If they did it with 1. One judge had it 5-1 after 6 rounds. Glenn Fieldman.
Well, I gave him two rounds. 2 rounds in the first 6.
Like I was. On a relapse, Rico. Where's my green? No, these people drive you crazy. 115, 113. I thought I was looking at a Calasalan scorecard in Germany on an hockey card. Spent hockey, Robin Reed. 115, 113, Rico. Steve Bunce, you crackhead. And anybody else who comes on here and you want to tell me it's 115, 113. If Terry starts with any of his horse muck later, with all this, well, Porky, you got what you wanted. Big Meech has now turned into Big Meech. I never said I wanted Joshua to carry off like that. I just said I didn't want him to be a company man and coming out with all these, you know when they do interviews, it's all rehearsed. You know that.
The motivational quotes.
I don't want to see all that. Or the jumping onto trending stories like Black Lives Matter and don't buy out at white people's shops and all this nonsense. If I said that, if I were running around Sheffield, said, don't buy out in there. The black people, you go to white people's shops. There'd be hell on, wouldn't there? There'd be hell on, Rico. Hell,
I think you know what? I think we might see a Joshua now that's more himself, and he might get more fans in the boxing community, but might lose some. I think his endorsement deals will take a hit, so he can probably be a bit more himself. And I genuinely I wish him the best of luck in the rest of his career because I think it's important.
I don't.
Yeah, but I think it's important for him to. I think it's important for him to remain in British boxing, at least fighting on these big fights. Because after him, who are we getting excited about? Who's left in British boxing to get excited about? Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr.,
Conor Benn, Eubank,
Sonny Edwards,
Campbell Hands of Stone Hatton.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's nobody left. That's the thing. There's nobody left. Let's run through the names just quickly. I'll give you
Lawrence Okoli is a world champion, Sonny Edwards. They've got to be given credit. They're undefeated. Let's give them credit then, boys, yeah?
Yeah, I will.
Sonny and Lawrence Okoli, world champions. Forget Lawrence's, he couldn't. I couldn't have a pint. So, I don't think I could enjoy it, but he looks jovial, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I've met Lawrence. He's a nice guy.
Sonny Edwards, I couldn't have a pint with him. I'd wring his little neck. Right. All the world champions.
So let's look at the fighters that we have. Fury, then he retired, right? Josh Taylor, probably on decline, moving up, 31 years old. Joshua, Dillian White, 35 years old. Okoli, Callum Smith, I think he's at his moment. John Ryder, 34 years old. Jack Cattrall, had a beat Josh Taylor, got robbed. I think that's the end of his career. Eubank Jr.
Harsh on Cattrall, Rico. I think that's
but what I mean is nobody's going to give him another opportunity.
He had that moment.
Yeah, nobody's going to give him another opportunity.
Well, it was took off him. It's not Cattrall's fault, is it?
No, it's not Cattrall's fault. And he's a good fight. He's a good fighter, but no, he's head of the Who Needs Him club. And I think he deserves another opportunity, but it's just going to be hard to manufacture that, particularly when he's not with MTK anymore. And I'm not sure who's actually doing Cattrall stuff now.
Sky, isn't it?
Oh, is it? But yeah, well, we'll see, right? Does Sky have pull with the governing bodies? We'll see. Chisora, Joyce, Liam Smith, Lee Wood, all over 30.
Get a fight, can he, Huey?
All over 33, all over 34, right? 34.
Huey, 27-year-old.
Yep. Well, Huey, then you start working down those. Cordina, 30-year-old super featherweight, not super interesting division. Josh Warrington. I think
he's a world champion, Josh Warrington.
He's a good fighter, but again, it's hard to make good fights for him unless he fights against other Brits. Galahad, talented guy. Dogbo, Conor Benn, Buatsi.
Alexander.
Who's Buatsi going to fight against? Lerone Richards, don't care. Michael McKinson.
Billy Warburton.
Don't care. Yard 31. You're starting going Daniel Dubois. Let's see, he's still a young guy. Troy Williams, talented guy. Let's hope they motor him up. Jazza Dickens, Sam Egginton, Maxie Hughes.
Paul Butler.
It's getting pretty desperate, isn't there?
So what it were, there's not many people want to be boxers now. They all want to do other things. Don't look at my kids. They're like slugs on them iPads.
Yeah, but not even that. I mean, a lot of people just go to MMA. I mean, it's less corrupt, easier part to make some money. You know, people like that Paddy Pumbledon from MMA, the Scouse lad, he's a bigger name than most of these boxers, right?
Yeah, but Rico, our kids are going to take up boxing. When I say, do you want to come to Chris Medley's gym, kids? And we're going to get you on path. Do you want to go, Reggie? And they go, where is it at, Dad? No, Sheffield. No, I'm okay. And they don't even look up. They're just like that. This is at dinner table, Rico.
Yeah.
Put them down. Eat your dinner.
We've been forecasting this for a few years now, and we've been called doom mongers and everything else in between. But
Everything we
I think
said comes true.
but this is now we're at the stage where British boxing is in a real decline, and we'll be back to small hall shows, the odd O2 show, but there's nothing coming up. There's no fight under the age of 26, 27 that is close to that world title level, right? You look at the US. You have guys like Shakur Stevenson, 25 years old. You have, let's look at the US for a moment.
Conor Ben coming up 26. He's not fought for a British, has he?
Yeah. But when you look at the US, for example, let's see, just to compare, right? Just to give an example of where we're at in the world. So in the US, you've got Shakur Stevenson, 25. Got Tank Davis, 27. You've got Devin Haney, 23. You have Teofimo Lopez, 25. Virgil Ortiz, 24. You have Navarrete, 27. Jero Dennis, 25. You know, it's night and day. Munguia, 25. David Benavidez, 25. Maurizio Lara, 24. Gary Antoine Russell, 26. You get the point, right? There is no young British fighters coming through. The sport is finished in this country for the next 5-6 years.
Well, I don't know what to say, Rico, really. You've probably hit the nail on the head. I mean, hasn't Steffi Bull got anybody coming through?
Not sure. I don't think so. It's more a case that we don't have any fighters that are under the age of 26.
Tennyson's got Jack Massey, hasn't it? IBO guy.
Yeah, but, you know, we need guys that are near that world level when they're 25, 26, so they can actually reign for a few years and have those big fights. And Jack Massey's 29.
That really is 29. He needs to get him over, then, doesn't he? Really, with him, doesn't he? Get him cashed in, or get him in a fight, get him in a big fight or something.
It's really depressing for boxing fans.
Do you feel that if we stop these big stadium shows after Joshua and Fury, do you think that it'll be back to like when Mick Hennessy first started and all that kind of carry on?
It will be. You know what? We just have to wait for guys like Ben Whittaker to come through and maybe a couple of others.
Saviour.
Depends. I mean, you need a few. Like if you think about Froch, you had Froch coming through.
Day.
Yeah, then you David Hay, Froch, and then you had
all them lot, weren't they?
Then you had and then you had the second wave of Groves and others
Kell
coming
Brook,
through.
Them, De Gale, all that.
Yeah, De Gale, Kell Brook. Then you sort of that built that momentum into class of 2012. What you really need in boxing is a good heavyweight, don't you? You need somebody that's going to sell out stadiums.
I want to talk about comebacks, Rico.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've heard there's a few whispers that David Hay might be coming back, you know, soon.
He's not coming back, David Hay. I mean,
you know.
do you think David Hay wants to train anymore? Do you think he's?
I think he'd come back for them exhibitions.
Yeah, I mean, he's 41 years old, so he might do an exhibition, but
yeah. Do you think Bellew will come back?
If there's an exhibition,
arm for right fight.
If there's an exhibition, I think if Bellew would have come back, he might have come back a few years ago. I mean, he's 39 now, right? He's 39.
40 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's 40 in a couple of weeks. He'll be 4 years removed from his last fight, loss against Usyk. Yeah, I just don't see him.
Okay. On the whole, though, did you like the Badou Jack fight?
Yeah, well, it
I
was
thought he got beat me, did you?
it was entertaining, but I just think Badou Jack's now an exhibition fighter, essentially, isn't he?
What do you think about him against Jack Massey, Dennis's fighter?
Yeah, but you know what? Badou Jack, 38 years old. Badou Jack will fight in the right fight for the right money, right? He fought in Dubai before he fought here.
You were on good money, what? Battle Jack.
Yeah, he's fought in Dubai a couple of times actually before fighting here. So I think he wants to fight in. Yeah, he wants to fight in fights that make financial sense. Wasn't he meant to fight against the YouTuber as well at some point?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, isn't it? So where do you think Joshua goes next? Then you're just saying Chisora, yeah?
Chisora White.
Yeah, because
that's another
easy one
O2 Salau all British dust up.
Yeah, he could do both White then Chisora, couldn't he?
He could do. I mean, see how the stars align.
He's going to need a few fights to get back there, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, just to build his confidence, but also just to figure out what level he's at.
Would we buy into it, Chisora versus Joshua, Rico?
I mean, it's a very easy fight for Joshua, but casuals will buy into it. Whether we buy into boxing is irrelevant. It's about what casuals do.
Yeah.
So all those mates, down the pub or somewhere that go, what, War Chisora is fighting against Joshua. I think War Chisora can do it.
War Chisora? He's talking
Yeah.
like Scooby-Doo, mate.
Well, isn't that what they call him? War Chisora.
Yeah. We'll finish off on then. Dave Allen. What next for Dave Allen? Do you think Dennis was going to release him? Or do you think he's going to have to see these handful of fights out with Dennis that he's got on his record, on his contract?
What's the interest? I mean, are people interested in seeing Dave Allen again? I mean,
I would be if he was fit.
If he's, if he's fit and wants to fight, good on him. But I just think it's more a case that I just don't know where his career goes. That's the thing. Like, I'd love to know what the plan is. Does he want to fight for British and then, get him in fighting against David Adelaide or someone like that? Then that will be an interesting one. But he has to fight against someone half decent.
Well, it'd be going to be interesting if Dennis and Steve Crump are going to either put him on shows or let him go. It'd be interesting to see because I've heard he's training now and taking it serious. He's doing it.
Well, if he's
Betty.
Well, look, if he's been let go, then I don't think there's many suitors. But let's hope gets himself back in shape and goes on some.
If I were him, I'd say, right, I've got these fights left. Line them up, and I'm going to knock them out, bum a month, and then we can part, or we'll move on with a big fight. That's what I'd say. None of this. What we're doing. Just get in there. The clock is ticking. Isn't it? Really? He's in his 31st year. I want to see him get a move on. I don't like to see wasted talent. What do you think to these, Rico? What do you think to that? When I get these out later and start building. When I start building, I'm going to be very creative this afternoon because I'm back in my office tomorrow.
You'll be flying, mate. You'll be flying.
Back tomorrow, thank God. It's been I've had a terrible time. Hey, listen.
I know.
I'm just glad to get over 10 stone now. I just have a 10 stone, but listen, we plod on because we're warriors, aren't we, Rico? But if you see any smoke signals coming from South Yorkshire, from down where you are in Croydon, mate, London, you know that it's Porky's pens are on fire and he's burning through the Sharpies.
I'll give you a call if that happens, mate. I'll see there's smoke. There's smoke. No smoke without fire, right?
Come round with fire engine, with firefighter. Rico, I love you. You're like my little brother. You take care. That was my bean.
You take care, mate. All right.
Bean to Ben. He's like that. And he's like, this is my new best friend. This is my little brother.
Well, remember, my fighters are like my family. That's all you need to know. My fighters
are like my family. That's why we keep feeding them to Usyk and Lomachenko. Because they're family.
Or Canelo.
And Canelo, yeah. Canelo, what is he? 8-0 against Eddie's fighters.
Probably, yeah. But he's got Eddie matching pajamas, so that's enough, right?
Okay.
All right, mate.
Listen, I'll leave you to get some lunch with Jess.
All right, mate.
What are you having out nice?
Some eggs or something. I'm not super hungry.
Sunday dinner, Rico.
Make some spaghetti bolognese for tonight.
Oh, you're not still on with that spaghetti carry on, Rico. Hey, you love that, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
I tell
All
you
right,
what,
mate.
when you come up here next time, I'm going to take you. We'll take you up to Wickersley. We'll take there's an Italian up there.
Sounds good, man.
All right, my
All
friend.
right, send my best to the family. All right, take care, my friend.
Care.
Bye.
Love you, mate. Bye.
Bye.
Hello. Well, that was Rico. Nice to speak to Rico today. I like Rico. I hope everybody's all right. I hope you've enjoyed these couple of videos. We'll get these out today, I think. And I'll plod on and we'll do a proper detail stuff. I haven't really got to jotted down. I do a bit of structural stuff, but I'm more creative when I'm in the office than in here. I get distracted when I'm on my own in here. But that's about it, really. I just want to say that Ramler Ali, I thought she was really good. The girl who fought first, I think she's got a bright future. Well, good luck to her. I thought she came across okay. And I just want to wish Savannah Marshall luck for her fight. She's got her fight coming up in a couple of weeks. So good luck to Savannah. Okie dokie. All right. Peace out. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Okay, let's thank all them people who leave comments, because if you don't leave comments, I don't know what you like. You know, we study our analytics. We know when you turn off the video and when you don't. So tell me what you like and what videos you want me to put out, because we can't just keep rinsing Joshua forever, can we? But I think I'm probably going to do about 20 videos just rinsing him. So keep tuned in, because you know when you prove right about something you've been saying for ages, you just feel vindicated, don't you? So I'm going to rinse you this next few weeks, Joshua. All right, you big dosser fraud. Go on, peace out. I'll see you at food banks in about 10 years, Joshua, when I'm back on crack.